What's up, everybody? On to our deck tech for Domain Zoo. Today we're playing Domain Zoo, classic Leyline of the Guild pack, Sign of Draco shenanigans. What is our stuff around that? We do have Ragavan. We're a red-based aggro deck. Obviously we have Ragavan. We have Lightning Bolt as removal and reach. We play 3 Stubborn and a Flage. Stubborn, just a really good card with all of our big boys. We only play 2 Tribal Flames because 5 damage against many decks right now is just not that good. Decks play casual life gain, stuff like energy and so on. It's not the best card. We have the 4 Territorial Carver as our other domain threat, and we're playing 3 Fable of the Mirror Breaker. I've seen other people have our additional lands, loot away Flage into the graveyard, being a good value card, and ramping so we get to escape Flage even faster. Sounds really nice. The card is just one of the best cards that's been printed in the past years, so hopefully it's good. And we have Leyline Binding, obviously, because we're a domain deck. Our mana base, we have Indata Tribe, our Scion, and Kavu on turn 2. There's also other ways to do it, but we have the Steam Winds because Steam Winds is one of the best untapped lands for us, playing all those red cards and the blue interaction spells. In our sideboard, we have 3 Dispute against blue stuff, 3 Consigns against Eldrazi, 2 Pyroclasm as a board wipe against stuff like Energy, Wear Tear against various stuff, Nile Spellbomb to nuke artifacts, and Go Wild strategies, Clearing Conqueror against various artifact stuff, High Noon against Storm, and Deafening Silence also against Storm. So, let's just move right into the leagues and see how we're doing. Just a second before we move into the games, you know the drill, it's just the usual reminder, please leave a like, follow and subscribe, it really would help me grow. I am burning so many play points playing all these different decks because usually I am a one-trick player, but I don't think it would be great content to just play one deck all the time. So please leave a like, follow, subscribe, maybe you should share the video if you like a deck list or not. Would be really helpful, help me out a lot, and maybe I will be a magic online content creator to have more play points. And then I can give play points back to you. So we're working to that. So I don't burn my play points and I can give play points to you. So let's just jump right into the game and let's see how many Leyline Scion starts we have. Match number 1, playing blue. We have the draw and we have a Leyline with Binding and a Kabu and Stubborn and to protect everything. This looks great. Only thing that could really upgrade this is if this was a Scion. But I'm happy with my 5/5 beaters any day of the week. And my cat seems to be as well. She is really excited. Oh, yes, you are one excited little girl. Opponent is on Heragast Tron and plays a turn 1 Talisman. But might be worth it to just run out the Leyline Binding. Or I keep up the Stubborn and I, but I think when I get the chance to basically Stone Rain my opponent for 1 mana, I will take it. And we even top deck a Scion, so next turn we will be able to play Scion. And the turn after we have Carvo with Stubborn and I backup. Hopefully that's enough pressure to kill our opponent. There is another Talisman and also a 2 mana play. Malevolent Rumble probably. Yep. They only find a Micro Spawn. That's okay. If they're able to Stone Rain us next turn would obviously be really annoying, but I'm still glad to just run out the Scion right here and start hitting our opponent. Drawing a second Scion also is pretty interesting. Hoping our opponent misses a land drop so they don't Stone Raid us and we are able to play Kavu plus Stubborn and Nile, but our opponent has a land drop. Also, my mic is way too far away. Now the audio should be better. Yep, opponent just runs out the Kick at Micro Spawn, gets rid of our Temple Garden. That's pretty much what we expected to happen. Not what we want to happen, but what we have to work with. At least our opponent only has access, does not have access to enough mana to cast Heragast next turn, if we manage to get rid of Micro Spawn. But I don't think we will be able to do that. He has exactly the 4 mana to cast the Heragast. I think I'll run out the Kavu now to have a slightly faster clock. Hit our opponent with a Scion. Drawing another land is pretty neat actually, because it means next turn we're able to go Scion and Stubborn and I back up. Just hoping that this Heragast does not start overrunning us, but unlucky for us, it is bigger than our creatures. All this does would also absolutely screw us, but I just hope that they don't play it main deck. There's a second Malevolent Rumble, and they only find lands, and now they don't have the colors to cast Heragast with Emerge. Please no All Dust opponent. It's a Sire. That's also horrible. especially because they made the Kozilek's return earlier. I think we're dead, especially with them also being able to search off the Sanctum of Ugin. They grab a World Breaker. Now we could still draw a Leyline Binding to answer the Sire. We're not dead, but not drawing that, I won't drag it on any longer. Because this World Breaker with reach also will just beat out Scion of Breaker. Sideboarding against Eldrazi. Definitely bringing in all of our Consign to Memories. And I think I'll also bring in the Clarion Conqueror. Flage seems really slow. Fabulous Mirror Breaker seems really slow. I think I'll also shape one Bolt. So maybe bring in the Wear-Tear. They do run those. So yeah. I think I also like running the Wear-Tear over the second Fable. Let's run it like this. Game number 2, this time we are on the play. We have Leyline, we have double Consign and a Kavu. Now this looks like a keep. Start with the Leyline. Opponent has a Devourer. And my cat just made me go invisible because she's right in front of the camera. And the camera doesn't pick it up. As a proper Magic player, I must say, I did not know of this interaction, cat. You just showed me how my camera and the background remover interacts with your fur. Opponent gets rid of Forester Command and a Micro Spawn. Those are some good cards I definitely like to see them getting rid of. And they start with a Stomping Ground. No Ugin's Lab, that's also pretty nice. And also no turn 1 ramp. No Utopia Sprawl, no nothing. Let's Surveil. Grab the Sunring Force in case they manage to get rid of the Leyline, so we still have the blue mana for Consign. And there's the Nature's Claim. Couldn't have interacted with that either way, but still unfortunate. Let's spin this binding. And then we'll go for a Temple Garden, and our Kavu will unfortunately only be a 4/4. Temple Garden, Kavu, and your turn, opponent. In case you hear this weird noise, it's my cat making dough on her pillow. Malevolent Rumble, and they grab an Ugin's Labyrinth. We find a Scion of Draco. That's a good top deck, but I won't cast it now, because I want to make sure that we have the the blue mana up for our Consign to Memory. And I think our only untapped black source we could get is a Temple Garden, and we can't fetch it with the Wooded Foothills. Or let me have a look at the deck list again. Maybe we do play Blood Crypt as well. No, we don't. It's only the Godless Shrine. Can't grab that with the Foothills, so we'll just grab the Triome end of turn. So next turn we can play Scion with Consign, and this turn we also have Consign up. We could Consign this Ugin's Lab trigger to Stone Rain them. But with the 2 Consigns, I think I'll just be able to answer all their threats. 6 mana and a red. Probably just a Kozilek's command, I'd assume. Or our opponent misstep because they are untapping right there. There is the Talisman, we definitely won't counter that. Chrysalis, good thing we have our Consigns. Definitely can't have our opponent get creatures that are bigger than ours. Let's end of turn grab the Triumph. We even find a Stubborn Annihil, that's also sweet. Run out Scion and attack our opponent. And I do like the cards we have, so I won't discard any of them. Stubborn Annihil, if they only have something like Kozilek's commands, we don't have to use our Consign. Consign against their creatures, even though we don't have the mana to also counter a trigger, so we could get rid of the Bolt. But I think I like the additional reach, because with this Kavu attacking our opponent, they will go really low. And I think we have pretty much all our bases covered, even if they have a big Eldrazi with a trigger, by countering either the trigger or the creature. Let's get rid of that creature to reduce their Delirium count. Opponent takes a hit after waiting for about a minute. Just wants my hard drive to be full. There's the Devourer of Destiny, trying to get rid of our Kavu. But I'll just consign this trigger, and we'll kill our opponent. We'll not kill our opponent. Our opponent scoops. Also, it would be one of lethal, but I take it. Sideboarding for being on the draw this time. Maybe Flage is better than the Lightning Bolt. It's also 3 damage. It can also be a late game threat, and Fable could also loot through. I think I'll just go with a 2-2-2 split. I think on the draw we have to rely a bit more on our consigns, and something like Ragavan is not as good as snowballing right here. The Leyline sure loves us. We don't have any real way of interacting with our opponent, but it's still a keep, because turn 1 Leyline and Ragavan into Kavu with a treasure up, hopefully. Definitely can work wonders, unless our opponent has a Nature's Claim again. No, they have a Utopia Sprawl. This time they are rampant turn 1. Draw another bolt. Let's just run out our monkey. Opponent turn 2 casual 4 mana. Just what Eldrazi do. Probably Myco spawn the way they tap. Maybe a Kozilek's command. Definitely hoping for neither. Oh, it's a talisman into a Kozilek's command, maybe, because they do have the Eldrazi mana here. Now that's fucked. Opponent ramps even further and get rid of our Ragavan. Let's just run out the Kavu and hope we don't get completely wrecked. We also have to shock in any land here basically, but I just chose a Godless Shrine because with the fetches we are more flexible later, and if we would have just played a fetch and not cracked any right here and our opponent gets rid of the leyline, we would just die. In this way, even if they remove leyline, our Kavu will at the minimum be a 2-2 and we can fetch later to grow it. Now they definitely can get some scary things right here. No answer for Sire right now. Not enough pressure to race past it. Unless our opponent misses all the land drops in the world and we get rid of the spawn. Opponent chooses the Uggin's Labyrinth, so they probably have something else big in their hand. They pitch a Sire to the Uggin's Labyrinth, so what is the last card? What is the big creature they have? Roll in the Stomping Ground. I don't mind. They only have 6 mana this turn. And if it's just a Kozilek's command, I am not too mad. I'm kinda mad because I would like to summon a Nile, but 6 mana basically can't mean anything else without colored mana. Yep, second Kozilek's command. And they are scrying for 4, so they will find something dangerous. And they even have the Sire under the Labyrinth, so even a Soul Land is enough to cast that next turn. This game definitely shows play draw difference minus. But we draw Leyline Binding, so we are able to answer the Sire. That's at least something. Kind of hoping our opponent kept another Kozilek's command on top. Taps out for it completely and we get to summon a Nile. That would be hilarious. Just grab the Sire, Lem and Rumble. No, fortunately no summon a Nile for us. And they have Magus of the Moon in their board. Interesting. They also grab one of the Magus. Good thing we have our bolts. And just passes the turn. They don't even run out a Magus. That's interesting. I will, with the Surveil on the stack, grab a second Surveil so we can potentially dig it a little deeper. And we have all of our types on board, even if they would get rid of our leyline. We basically have to keep a Kavu because it is at least a threat. And it also means that our Stubborn and Nile is a hard counter for something. Magus, luckily enough, doesn't really do anything because we have our bolts. The Natures claim our leyline, but that's also not too bad. So we do have our Kavu and we do have our domain count up. But it's kind of annoying because it means we don't have Stubborn and Lala up when we play this Kavu. But we definitely have to go for it. We know our opponent's cards, they have the Magus, they have the Sire. Now they also have one unknown. If they run out the Sire, we have the Leyline Binding. If they run out the Magus, we can just produce a red mana with a Godless Shrine to kill it. Only really weak spot would be something like another Kozilek's command because we don't have the Stubborn and Nile. Or Big Eldrazi with a cast trigger. Would also be really annoying. I'm hoping it's just a Sire. Opponent taps 8 mana. Please don't be another command opponent. It's just the Sire and they sacrifice their spawn for no reason. Great. Good job, opponent. Let's get rid of your Sire. Yes, I will pay the ward. Now we actually might be ahead. Could get rid of one, could have gotten rid of the Foothills. I think I actually just like all of these cards. I would prefer this to be a consign, but like this I can cast 2 of the spells I have at my disposal right now because I want to get rid of the Magus. And answer that, let's exile. Can I reduce the types our opponent has? There's 2 sorceries, only a couple of instants, but only 1 land. Let's get rid of the Uggin's Lab. That's a Stubborn Annihil against another Kozilek's command or against something like an All-Star Stills, Lightning Bolt against the Magus or just against our opponent's face. They are at 11. Talisman, I don't care. One of the cards is a Magus. Let the other one just be... I'm actually hoping on it because I will Stubborn Annihil that. 100. If they don't run out the Magus, they're actually dead to our double bolt. Play the Magus. Yep, let's just bolt that. Fortunately, we don't have another Survey land because we use those 2 to do our funny little grab a second Steam Vents and another Leyline Binding. Also, what's really fun that our opponent had Zootopia Sprawls on a Stomping Ground, so they just fell off. Could try to go for lethal by discarding our Leyline Binding, but I think I'll just use the Binding to exile. No, I apparently won't. Apparently I just activated one trigger, but we find lethal, so that's good. It's better to be lucky than good. I wanted to get rid of one of our opponent's lands, but finding lethal obviously is nice. On to the next match. Match number 2, this time we are on the play, definitely prefer that, and our hand does almost nothing. So let's mulligan. This is looking way better. Unfortunately, we don't have the relay line we want, but that's still a keep. I think I'll get rid of the lightning bolt, because if I want to play the Cyan turn 1, turn 2 I can't bolt, and I keep the Flage to have some late game inevitability. So Leyline Binding is a more flexible removal spell, and Tribal Flames is a better burn spell. Opponent plays the Hedge Maze turn 1, so I'd assume that it's possibly Living End. Pre-board, not the best matchup, but post-board we have loads of hate because Consigned to Memory is a messed up card. And we draw another Lightning Bolt. If our opponent deals enough damage to themselves by cycling Street Wraith and stuff, definitely can win game 1, or if we just draw Stubborn Annihil. But I'm not sure I will be able to draw Stubborn Annihil. There is a subtlety. And they are running Oculus. Could still be an interesting Living End variant. I don't know yet. I put the Cyan on top. So far I've not seen Living End with Oculus, but it sounds like a fun addition as another good 3-drop. But it might also just be that exact deck. Coil and Oracle shenanigans. Opponent found a Dismember. Do they also have a Flare to get rid of our Cyan? That would be annoying. Yep. Our opponent is not what I expected to be, but that matchup should also be fine. All the Flare stuff is pretty annoying. Shardless Agent into Icefang Portal is probably the fairest Shardless Agent you can play. And we draw another land. Great. So let's just Flage away their Shardless Agent. Our opponent, I think this deck also plays Neoform to go for Coiling Oracle and Quartal into Oculus. Pond Prophet. I don't think I've seen that guy so far. We draw lands, so we can next turn go for Flage. Let's just pass the turn, keep up our interaction. I could just Tribal Flames our opponent. I think I just keep up the interaction I've got. Can Leyline Binding and bolt something. If they go for Neoform or something into Oculus, be able to get rid of that stuff. Another Pond Prophet. Good old Frog Advisor. Birthing Ritual. So definitely want to get rid of that. There is a second Flare of Denial. That's annoying. But that means that they probably don't have one for our Flage. Let them resolve the Birthing Ritual. Now I did not think of that. Should have floated a red mana. Should have floated a red mana. I should have floated a red mana. So we just got absolutely cooked by that. They have so many disposable small creatures. I think Ragavan probably is not really good enough. Wrath of the Skies seems reasonable. Pyroclasm also gets rid of all their smaller stuff. And Weird seems pretty good. I think maybe I'll also bring in the Spell Bombs. I think I like the rest more. Spell Bomb only stops them from hard casting their stuff. Mystical Dispute. I almost forgot about Mystical Dispute. Definitely want Mystical Dispute. It sounds better than Consign and better than the Stubborn Annihils, because it stops everything they have except for the Birthing Ritual. So we're on the play now, and we know that we have to play around Harbinger off of Birthing Ritual, so we'll keep because we have Leyline Cyan. Just have to draw another land. If we do, we're in business. Start with Leyline into Flooded Strand. Don't think our opponent has any turn 1 plays, so the Dispute probably doesn't really matter right here, and we can just happily grab a Surveil. They also just play Tapped Springs. Let's grab our Thundering Falls. There is a land. I love to see it. And we just run out our Cyan. I think if that sticks, which it does, I think our opponent has almost no outs to that. There's a position that's possibly an out. They find a Hedgemates of the Oracle. That's value. Let's just chuck in the Steam Vents, hit our opponent. I will also just Tribal Flames our opponent while we have the chance, because our Mystical Dispute will still just cost 1 mana. Opponent already down to 11. Shardless Agent. Maybe the Consigns would still be decent to stop that. Will actually stop this Coiling Oracle. Don't want our opponent to get even more value. Now we can Flage away the Shardless Agent. Hit our opponent with Cyan again. And they also did miss their land drop. Pond Profit. You go, man. Do your thing. Find a land. Worst case, it's Birthing Ritual again. Another Pond Profit. I couldn't care less. Maybe we even draw a land to just go for the Wrath. But let's just grab our lands and escape the Flage. And we'll also grab the basics for that. Let's scoop it up. On to game 3. Now this might sound really stupid, but I'm highly contemplating High Noon. Because that makes all the cantrip boys all they can do in a turn. And it also stops the Cascade from Shardless Agent, but I think that's just way too cute. I just keep the Stubborn Denial, and Shardless Agent hitting the 2 drops doesn't really matter. This hand is really land heavy, but Kavu could loot those away, and we have Flage as late game insurance again, so I actually don't hate it. I think it's just safer to mulligan. One mulligan should be pretty free to try to find Leyline now. It's only one laner without the Leyline, so we have to go to 5. And now I do regret not keeping the hand before. Let's get rid of our Leyline bindings. Keep both Kavus and the Wrath of the Skies, so if we have enough lands, we get to board wipe them. Finding a Fable also is pretty decent if we manage to cast it. Treasures and the card filtering are pretty good. Opponents wails away a Windswept Teeth. There's the early Birthing Ritual. Now that's actually the scariest thing they can do because we got rid of both of our Leyline bindings. Could keep up the Bolt to get rid of their creature. But I think the only real reasonable thing is to run out the Kavu and hope they don't find Harbinger. If they find the Harbinger, we're pretty done. I could have gotten the basic mountain here. Should have gotten the should have gotten the basic mountain with the Iron Mesa so we can bolt the Harbinger. Like this, we might just die. A second Birthing Ritual. That's fine. I think it's best to just keep up our answers right now and hope we find a land. Because with 2 Birthing Rituals, they would be able to snowball absolutely out of control. And we can bolt one of their creatures and Leyline binding a Birthing Ritual away. And if they have 2 creatures, we can answer both. It's nothing great, but it's the best we can do. And they don't have a creature. That's great. Let's just get rid of one of the rituals. We find a Scion. Problem is that if we run any creature out right now, we still just almost lose to a Harbinger of the Seas. But I think Scion is good enough to do it like this. Because if they play a Harbinger, they still have to answer our Scion. Probably a hardcast Flare, I'd assume. There is an Endurance. That's annoying. And the door ring. I'll be right back. Guess who's back? Back again. Shady's back. Opponent played Endurance and grabbed a quarter of the ritual. Now the problem right here is they are 100% able to use a Birthing Ritual unless we bolt a quarter. Let's just brute force it and hope they don't find the Harbinger. I think bolting this quarter right here, where we are missing all of our land drops, is no winning line. That looks like an Oculus. Yep. Just praying to draw lands. Eventually we must hit them. Because if we just manage to play the Fable, draw another land and Wrath for 3, we're able to really start going. Opponent finds a second Oculus, so we must find lands. There is just no getting around that. Still don't find a land. Let's get rid of one of our Fables. Still no land drop. That's unfortunate. We're probably just losing to Mana Screw. They even trade away one of the Oculi. Just take my shot at getting rid of one of the Manifests, because when they block with one of the Oculus, it's probably something good under one of those. Nothing special. And we are running out of time. It's just another Pond Profit, and they flip it up so they have 2 drops, so they can find another 3 drop. Another Coatl. If we don't find something good, we are just dying. Pyroclasm gets rid of the small stuff, but we don't have another land to also bolt the Oculus. Would have been nice. Like this, I guess we have one more turn. Don't even know what we're drawing for. Just hoping our opponent does not have any other creatures again. And we find a Leyline binding for the Oculus and the bolt for their more stuff. Now this just seals the deal. On to the next match number 3. We are on the play. And this hand is slow, but actually pretty fine depending on our matchup. We have Bolt and Stubborn Denial to stop some of our opponent's things and double Fable. I will try it. Now it's absolutely nothing spectacular, and possibly I should have mulled it. But I want to see how Fable can perform in the deck, because I've not played Fable in Zoo until yet, but I've seen other people have success with it, so I just want to fuck around and find out how you say. Let's go for our Triumph. And we just top deck a Scion. It's just that easy, everybody. Grab our Steam Vents. And run out the Scion. It's just that easy. And if our opponent is a Spell Snare deck, they are really sad seeing us tap 2 mana and not playing something they can counter. Shadowy Backstreet, so they are probably just a Flicker variant with Relic, so they are also playing Ketramose. Only real surprise now is whether or not they play blue or they don't. Basic planes, nothing else, so probably just a failure at the ready. We draw another land, so let's just hit our opponent, keep up Bolt for failure, keep up Stubborn and Knife or something like the Overlord they might have. No need to rush the favor right here. That's a happy dog. But dogs are lightning rods where I'm from. We Magic players, we're not eating the dogs, we're not eating the cats, we're firing lightning bolts at them. And they Sword Seize us. I will just Stubborn Annihilate. I won't. I thought there would be another untapped blue source. Okay. You got it, opponent. That one resolves. They don't have anything else going on, so let's keep Ragavan, because we can dash Ragavan and play Fable afterwards. I thought there was a second untapped blue source. And they grab our Stubborn Annihilate. There's the Overlord probably now. Yep. Had I known that we can't cast Stubborn Annihilate off of this fetch anymore, I should have played the Arid Mesa instead of Flood Range, just grab the basic mountain. Bolt failure like that, and have the other mana up. But you live and learn. Opponent grabbed a Flicker Wisp of the Overlord, so they are able to flip it next turn. We have to hurry up. But we hit our opponent for 6 and run out of Fable. That's a pretty decent clock. You go, opponent. And they also made a Psychic Frog, so we know that they're also playing blue. Kept Witchblessed Meadow and a Flicker Wisp to reset their Overlord. No, they actually reset the Meadow to get rid of our Scion. Did not expect that, but that's pretty good. Let's get rid of the land. Do I also get rid of Ragavan or do I dash because I have to block? I think I'll just dash it. Oh, we even draw another one. They have to trade both of those. We can just play a second Fable. Yep. Opponent has a second Overlord and they do mill a Ketramose, but I think Ketramose is just too slow right here. Because our graveyards are all filled and they return the Flicker Wisp again. We have to make it count. Our opponent is slowly starting to catch up. The Overlords will eventually become a real boys. Find a Leyline of the Guild deck. That's not what I want to have. Lip of Fable. And let's get rid of this Leyline. Hello, Modo? Yes. Why is it not working? Magic Online, what are you doing? Magic Online. Magic Online. I'll be right back. I'll just restart Modo. Whoa! Just a quick... I wanted to give you an update because it just wouldn't let me connect, but... now it actually is connecting. But it's not working properly. Now we are actually back. So let's discard this Leyline. And it's working! It is working. Or is it? Yes. And we draw another Leyline. Nice. Great top deck, great top deck, great top deck. Our opponent does not have something to block. Oh no, Solitude, that's a Fatal Push, that's annoying. Next turn we will have our Reflections up, but they also do have the Flicker Wisp to reset the Overlord. It is the really tight race, because they're also only at 3 life right now. So top decking a Bolt, or Flage, or a Tribal Flames even, all just kills our opponent right here. And they hardcast Witch Enchanter to get rid of one of our Reflections. Really annoying. We draw Stubborn Denial. Do I run in with my Shaman or do I keep it ready? I think I just have to run in. Opponent's Overlord will be alive next turn. So even being able to copy it next turn won't make a difference. And they might let it go through because they have the Flicker Wisp to kill our Reflect. They don't. Could run out the Leyline. But what for? Just have a soft WD. Opponent has an Emperor of Bones. That's a really, really scary one. Not sure if I should maybe even feel lucky that they just grabbed the Witch Enchanter to kill our Reflection. Reflection down, we take the hit. Just trying to find a burn spell. Just trying to find a burn spell. Another leyline. You have to be kidding me. Oh, that's nothing. Don't just go straight to combat. Second Emperor of Bones would have killed us. And they find a Solitude, so they are able to gain life in response to our burn spells. We are done. Because they can just exile their own creatures. Only Leyline Binding. That's unfortunately nothing. Rest in Pepperoni. Leyline of the Guild Pack. Great in your opening hand. Horrible top deck. Playing against the Esper Ketramose deck. I will keep in one consigned to memory to maybe stifle something like a Solitude or potentially Scam in a Fledge. And I'm trimming just around the edges. Take out one Stubborn Annihilate because it only hits the Overlords. Bring in 2 Spell Bombs to empty their graves. The Overlord is weaker. And bring in a Wear against the Overlords. We unfortunately don't have Celestial Purge to have additional answers to Ketramose, but we do have our Leyline Binding, so that should be fine. And we're also trimming one Fledge because they have so much exile-based removal that Fledge often will just be exiled. We are on the play again. And this hand is so close to being good. Unfortunately, we're not able to cast Scion off of these lands. Any one card in this hand would just be Leyline of the Guild Pack. It would be crazy good. Same problem here. We're not able to cast a Scion with this hand, but we do have Ragavan into stuff. So let's keep it. Put away the consigned memory. And we'll just delete with the turn 1 Ragavan. Hope that the monkey will find us a treasure. Grab the Steam Vents. Our mana in this hand is really bad, unfortunately. There's a push, and they just push their Ragavan right away. Couldn't you have waited, opponent? Now we find a fetch land, which is sweet, because that means next turn we can go for a Scion. We do have a Stubborn Annihilate if they run out an Overlord like this. Please just run out an Overlord. Do me a favor, opponent. No Psychic Frog shenanigans. Why do I do this to myself? Why do I do this to myself? So we'll just go for the Triumph and run out our Scion. This Psychic Frog can just easily outgrow our Scion, which is crazy. Second Frog. Now it's getting ridiculous. They don't attack, so they value all their hands, all their cards. Haha, opponent, got you. Now we're hoping to find Leyline would actually just be a really good top deck. Last game, we were just flooded on Leyline of the Guild Pack from the top of our library. Now I'm kind of hoping to draw one. Not anymore, not anymore. I take it back, deck. Please don't give me a Leyline of the Guild Pack. Now I just want Flages, Flying Frog in our face. So use the Foothills, grab a Portico and mill a Flage. We don't. But I keep it on top because that means we can loot away our Flooded Strand and play that. One jumps away with a Witch Enchanter. And we have a second Kavu. Now these 2 Psychic Frogs will do a lot of work. We're down to 0 cards. Our opponent has 4 cards in hand and 2 Psychic Frogs to keep drawing more. Vindicates our Kavu. And hits us with both frogs. So if they find an answer to our Kavu, we are basically out. They don't. There is a chance. A real small one, but there is one. Losing game 1 like that just is really sad. Could have fetched right there to potentially hit Solitude, but I wanted to be safe. I just discard the Flooded Strand. Now we'll just play the Flooded Strand and hope we are not completely dead, but they're just drawing 2 cards additional a turn. There's no real way for us to get out of this. Ketramose, and if they also have a relic right now, we won't even be able to escape a Fledge. Ketramose also is alive now. Spellbomb is a redraw, but it's basically the same as just drawing a card. There's the Leyline. Too little too late. On to the next match. Match number 4. Opponent is on a Kaheera deck, but we have Leyline into Ragavan. And if we just draw another land, we also have Scion, Stubborn Annihilate after. So we will keep a Shock in a Foundry for a Wayward Guide Beast. That's not what you expect to see when you see the Kaheera like this. Kaheera burn. Interesting, interesting, interesting. So let's run out our monkey. And the Scion next turn will probably just win us game number 1. Opponent has a bolt for our monkey. That's unfortunate, I guess. But I don't really mind. The only thing I care about is that the Scion hits the battlefield next turn. And there's an abundant harvest. Our opponent is on a wild brew. Just turn 1 Wayward Guide Beast already is wild. And they find a Skyclave Pickaxe. That's somewhat of a combo, I guess. But what do you have to say about this one, opponent? Skyclave Pickaxe gives any creature the Landfall pump. I have never seen that card. Never seen that card. But it actually doesn't look too bad. And now the Wayward Guide Beast also makes some sense because it does give you the land back to get the landfall triggers again. Kaheera Skyclave Pickaxe. Grab the mountain and we can't block the beast. What is this? Bestows that Gentle gives landfall buff. Puts the 1/1 counter on it when you get landfall. What? What are those cards? What are those cards? Opponent is just Wayward Guide Beast Tribal. Crazy. Absolutely crazy. Let's just dash our monkey. Oh, unlucky for us, we do have Leyline Sign, which is probably one of the worst nightmares they have. And we find the Hellhound that also has the landfall ability. But I will just hold the beast so the equipment falls off and they only have the elemental left. Crazy stuff. Crazy stuff. And the Brushfire Elemental. Kaheera Landfall Aggro. That's not an archetype I've expected to see, but I appreciate it. We just take the hit. No need to be fancy, because they still have the fetch. Opponent also goes down to 6, so we just draw land. We have lethal by hitting them with a Scion and flaging their face. Hey, that deck actually did crazy damage. They actually did crazy damage to us. That's really impressive, not gonna lie. Not hit a land. We have a Leyline Binding to get rid of one of these things, so I'll just keep Summon Nile and Leyline Binding up. They only have the 2 cards, there should be no. And they try to equip the X. No can do opponent, I am sorry. On to sideboarding. Sideboarding against Kaheera Landfall Aggro. What a crazy deck. Paraclism looks really good because their creatures in our turn, if they don't have landfall or our 2/2s, Wear-Tail look pretty good. They have the enchantments, the artifact stuff. Wrath of the Sky also look incredible. And I think that's all I want. Let's take out Ragavan, bring those in, and let's go for round number 2. Definitely can mulligan this. Only a weak 1-lander, and we're basically just looking for Leyline Scion. And we have a Scion, no Leyline, but we also have a Bolt to get rid of stuff. I think that's fine. Let's get rid of one of our lands. We have Bolt against one of the early creatures. Scion still is at the very least a decent blocker. And Fable after to loot for stuff. They start with a Hellhound. I will absolutely just bolt that guy. Grab the Steam Vents, bolt the Hound. And we even drew a Carvu, so next turn we can go for Temple Garden into Carvu. Renin 6. That's the name I've not heard in a while. Makes sense. Make sure they always have a fetch land to grab. Let's run out our Carvu. Now we're going really low because of all of our fetch shocking. We're definitely in dangerous territory right here. Brushfire Elemental. Yep. Well, that unfortunately goes up to 5/5 with their fetch land, so we can't block it now. We have to take a big hit right here. But next turn, our Scion giving the Carvu first strike means that they won't be able to attack. They bolt ping the Carvu! That's mean, opponent! That's so mean! Question is, do I run out the Scion or do I play Fable? Scion won't be able to block the Brushfire Elemental. I think I play the Fable, grab basic planes, and hope we don't just die, because I can not jump with the Fable token. But I think it's our only way of coming back, because jumping away the Scion also doesn't seem like a winning line. Now we probably just dealt too much damage to ourselves with our own mana base. But I don't think there was any way around that. Taking 5 from the Elemental, and if they have another Bolt, we're just dead. Do grab a Surveillant, so maybe we're a Livik. They keep the card on top. I don't like that. Nope, we're just taking it. Pump spell? Ataka's command. That's just lethal. On to game number 3. Don't think I changed anything with boarding. Ragavan just seems really bad. Seems even worse now that we know they have Ran 6. Maybe that means we can bring in the Conqueror. Also creature that can block, I guess. Yeah, let's get rid of the Consign. So can give the Flage, can stop the landfall trigger, but get them by surprise. But I think that's too cute. We do have double Leyline and double Leyline. I don't hate it actually. We have really good removal. We just draw a Scion, we win. And we have double Leyline, so even if they have removal for the Leyline, we're fine. Am I crazy that I want to keep this? I think I'm crazy for keeping this, but I will go with it. I will go with it. I think 2 Leylines basically means we have proof from from their removal. Throw out the Flooded Strand, grab a Surveil, and hope we find something good. Turn 1 Surveil from our opponent. Sure. Keeps their card on top. We will also Surveil. Let's see what we find. A land. Let's get rid of that. That's a creature. We'll definitely keep that. Play the tap Godless Shrine. Hope to just Leyline Binding away one of our opponent's threats. Run off the Conqueror. Opponent probably just had a real big fire of reliefs that we did not have the Scion. Steplings. That's also a name I've not heard in a while. That makes absolute sense. And an Abundant Harvest. Let's just get rid of the links. Opponent finds a Wear Tear. That's annoying. Don't think there's ever any need for us to have 4 mana next turn, so I will actually just dash in this Flaring Conqueror. Not dash, give it haste. Just to get a hit in. That's rude. We just find another land. Run out our foothills. Grab a Surveil end of turn. Have Leyline Binding up. Just looking for our Scion. Or Fledge. Fledge would also be really nice. Opponent puts Kaheera in their hand and they have the Wear Tear up. They can grab the links end of turn and try to go for a big push. I'll just keep the Stubborn Tile and I'll stop their Wear Tear right here. Bad card. Good spot for the card. Got you, opponent. We're kind of flooding. Definitely want to find a Fable, Fledge, Scion. Scion would be really good. It's like Scion of Draco. Second Abundant Harvest from our opponent. A good card filtering spell. And they find one of the elementals. Opponent hastes in a Glyph Elemental. Sure. There's also a Hellhound coming afterwards to use the other mana. Opponent has a fetch land and shocks in a Stomping Ground, so there is something else coming. It's an attacker's command to deal damage and put a land on the battlefield. So let's just get rid of the elemental. Opponent dashes in something else. Is it the Arena of Gloried Kaheera? It is. Now that's gaming. This is pod racing, everybody. Our opponent is living the fucking dream. That's the hit that I will take. We're still at 12, and if we draw a Fledge, I want Fledge to be able to remove a creature. Leyline Binding can remove bigger threats. Taking a hit for 3 is absolutely fine right here. Pyroclasm also cleans up Kaheera. Opponent has nothing else going on. And we find a Fledge. So we are starting to turn it in our favor. They don't have a way of dealing with the Fledge. We'll escape her next turn for lethal. They maybe just kept up loads of Graveyard Hate in their hand. That's why they didn't do anything all the time. I think they were just threat light and probably have a couple of lands in their hand. Graveyard Hate would be really annoying here though. Opponent has another Abundant Harvest. Probably looking for an answer to our Fledge. That's just a Hellhound. They can give it haste. Or maybe they are just loaded up on smaller stuff and they're just waiting for the right time to play multiple hasted Hellhounds and go absolutely bonkers with a pickaxe on them as well. And they scoop it up. On to the next one. We are on the draw. We have Thundering Falls and we can grab something to play Kavu. We fortunately right now don't have Scion turn 2, but we also have Bolt and Fledge. I think as far as hands without Leyline of the Guildpact are concerned, this is a pretty fine one. Just hoping that this Bolt will have a decent target and we are able to utilize our Fledge. Shadow Backstreets are probably another Flicker deck. Don't really want to see those, especially not without Leyline Scion. Yeah, they're Mill of Solitude, so they're 99% of the time another Flicker deck. We draw another fetch, that's pretty good. That means we can just go for our Triumph into Steam Vents to play the Kavu. But they shock in the Witch-Blessed Meadow, so we won't do that. That basically guarantees that they have the Thalia in hand. And I definitely don't want to just die to Thalia into Overlord. There is a Doggo, and there is my Bolt. Emperor of Bones, and another land. Probably just using Fledge to answer that. Using Fledge for value as long as I can. Please, not Ephemerate opponent. Ah, of course, okay. They exile our Fledge. But one of the better things they could ephemerate for us. It's not like they ephemerate Solitude and get rid of all of our things. But that still means that they exile our Fledge. And it's still really annoying. They also have mana to adapt right now. No. Ooh, they are on the bird. They are on the bird. Get Thundering Falls, get rid of the land, run out the Kavu, and we have Leyline Binding up. Now the bird is the word. Let's get rid of... Could get rid of the bird so they can't recycle it, but I think I still have to get rid of the Emperor of Bones because that can just mean too much value. Swordseize, that's annoying. Please no Ketramose. It's just a Flicker Wisp. I can live with that. Even though it means they get rid of our Leyline Binding. Yep, Leyline Binding down. We are not dead. I think I have to get rid of the Emperor of Bones, even though it really sucks. So if they start reanimating one of the things, we are probably just dying. They could also loop stuff with Failure Flickering. The Emperor again getting rid of Flicker Wisp. We're in a top deck war and we are behind, but we do have more mana at our disposal. We'll take the trade. This bird actually is really annoying right now. And they are on Cecil. I really dislike Cecil in the white-black deck because I think it just drains your life total way too much. And against some decks that usually are good matchups, it just really makes the matchup a lot worse. For example, Energy. Cecil against Energy just hurts yourself way too much. They're able to kill you way too good. Now we are not dead. Can draw Flage to potentially start stabilizing. If we don't draw one, we are dying. They could flip it because of the Flat Shock. I did not think of that, so even Flage wouldn't have saved us. Did not think of that. Oh, to sideboarding again. Yet again, I like Red Hair. I want the Spell Bombs. And I will go for Coward Shapes again. We will keep it. Later into Ragavan, hope the monkey survives. Fable, we're able to discard Flage to the Fable, and we have the Spellbomb to interact with our opponent's graveyard. That's not Leyline Scion, but it's still pretty good. I'm sorry. And they have to push for our monkey. That's annoying, but we just run out our Spellbomb, and we drew land, so we're able to play Fable next turn, which is really important. Hoping our opponent does not have Failure Overlord. That would suck a lot. Just a survey land. Sure. Won't get rid of a Witch Enchanter. I will also surveil. Looking for Scion. Don't need no ley lines. Already have one of those. We find another Spellbomb. That's okay. Run out the Fable. Next turn, probably just discard Flage and Spellbomb. Draw something new. There is Swordseize. That's annoying, but so what? Those are not great targets. We would have discarded them to the Fable either way. And Evoke the Solitude to get rid of our Shaman. Sure, that just happened. I would great for that and hope you miss. At the very least not get one of the good cards. And they miss. Sweet. Well, that's unfortunately the worst land we could draw. Let's get rid of it. That's no land at all. That's unlucky. So no escape for us. Let's just keep up our binding. If they have a Flicker Wisp to get rid of their Overlord, could have potentially just Tribal Flamed their face. Yeah, they have the Flicker Wisp, and we have the answer. Leyline Binding is a really risky card against the Flicker deck, because they have so many answers. Second Fable, it's not a land drop, but it's still pretty good. I think I will keep it, even though it's not escaping Flage right now. It means we do have our Goblin Shaman to escape next turn, and we're able to loot for another land or something else. Would just feel weird to get rid of the Fable right there. There's a second Overlord, and they find a Witch Enchanter. That's a good one to find, but they miss a land drop. Maybe they're not able to cast it. And they swing in. Risky. Let's get rid of the Leyline. I think I still like the Tribal Flames because they are so low life. Escape Flage. Opponent is down to 6, and we have the Tribal Flames right here. And they have another Flicker Wisp, so they are able to either reset their Overlord or answer our Flage with that. They can do both because they can Ephemerate in the upkeep again, but resetting our Flage also means taking another 6 to the Dome. They get rid of our Shaman instead, okay. We get to keep our Flage. Also because they Ephemerated in the end step, they don't have their Overlord at their disposal already. That's funny. Basically have to find a Solitude to exile something from their own. Overlord grab Failure, so just Tribal Flames our opponent's face and move to attacks. Magic Online, what are you doing again? Why don't you like playing against Ketramose? Maybe it was just a really long conflict leg. Anyway, on to the last game. I would like to say no changes to sideboarding, but I would have to see the sideboard to do that. Yes, still no changes. Leyline Scion with the turn 1 Spellbomb will definitely keep, and we even have a Fable afterwards. Now please, Moto, don't screw with me. Just let me put the Leyline on the battlefield. Yes. Okay. Yeah, Moto, you're doing good. You're not dying. There's no need for you to die. No Swordseize, please don't. A Cecil. Who cares about that guy, right? Cecil Dark Knight, more like Cecil Blue Knight. No, there's a Swordseize. No, opponent, don't do that to me. No. They get rid of our Scion. No. And we find a second Fable. Now, Fable is a good card. It's even a decent card in the matchup, but it's not a Scion, you know. And they even get to flip Cecil right now, and we can't really punish them for it. No. We'll crack the Spellbomb right here. Maybe find a bowl to get rid of the Cecil. Should have fetched before. Oh, don't want that. Oh. And now the flip Cecil actually is really dangerous for us if we don't find an answer. Talking so much shit about that card and then it actually starts wrecking us. That Swordseize was so brutal. The turn 1 Cecil really made me think they didn't have it when they tapped the black mana. And now we just get absolutely beat up. Oh no. We're down to 6 life already. And they have a Witch Enchanter for... Even the Scion is not as good anymore. Because I just fetched stupidly. Also our mana base is kinda screwed. If we had that a turn earlier. And we might just be dead now. If they have a Flicker Wisp to get rid of our Kavu or push. Well, onto the Afterthoughts. So that definitely just happened. I think I said earlier something about burning my play points. And that's absolutely happening. Not the result I would like to see, but I think that's also based on the matchups we have. I think Black-White is one of the toughest matchups for our deck, because they have so many good enchantment removal, they can just outgrind us and can basically fight with us on every axis. Playing against them twice is rough, and also the one game where we just kept drawing Leyline of the Guild pack, even though our opponent has 3 life. That's just what sometimes happens. Feels kinda bad. If you know what I could have played better, definitely leave a comment. And other than that, what are my thoughts on the deck list? I think Fable looked pretty promising. I'm not sure if 3 is maybe too many. Maybe I would like some more aggression and switch this around, play 3 Tribal Flames and 2 Fable of the Mirror Breaker. Because I think that against stuff like the Black-White deck, there's no way that we outgrind them. There's just no way we get to do that. We were like, pretty much all games, we were empty-handed. We just throw our stuff on the board. We don't really have any grinding power. And the additional 5 damage from Tribal Flames could, I think, sometimes just sneak in a victory. So I think that's the only real change I want to make. So Consign in the main deck, I think it's just somewhat necessary and real high upside potentially. Like, there's no real downside to it because we can just use it against some random ETB from an opponent's stuff. So I really like that. On the sideboard, I'm not sure if 3 Dispute might be too many. I'm not sure how bad the Frog matchup really can be, if that's what we're doing it for. And maybe a second Conqueror would be good because it also just hits some other artifact things really well as well. Not sure if we're maybe underutilizing sideboard slots against energy, but we do have Wrath, Pyroclasm and Wear-Tear, so we're pretty good off. And if we have Leyline Scion, energy has a lot of trouble dealing with that, especially current iterations because I play so little Static Prison. So I think probably are fine there. So the only real change I would make is the Tribal Flames and the Fable. Other than mana base, Godless Shrine, I just have to remember that the Steam Vents is our only untapped source that came up once. So I thought I had another untapped blue. But to be honest, it's only those 4 spells. It's probably reasonable to only have the Steam Vents as an untapped blue source. So hope you enjoyed the leak. I'll see you in a bit.